What if your emotions, they aren't just moods, but they're actually messages wrapped in vibration? That's right. What about your anxiety? What if it wasn't a flaw, but actually a frequency? Maybe your grief, your anger, even your numbness, they weren't signs that you were broken, but actually signals that something is trying to speak to you so that you can actually harmonize. Well, emotions don't come here to punish you, they actually come here to vibrate you. And in today's episode, we are going to learn how we can actually decode and alchemize our emotional energy, how we can stop fearing our feelings and actually start listening to their wisdom. Hey there, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another Mindful Monday. I am your host, that's right, your girl, Erica Sandell, also known as the Mindful Mistress. I am here to help you grow spiritually, helping you embrace every aspect of this crazy journey we call life. But the way to do that is by breaking our own prism of limitations. Here at Prism Vibes, we aren't just about releasing the pain, we're learning to resonate with our own truth, tuning in to our mind, body, and spirit so they can be back in harmony. Because I believe that real healing isn't just bypassing emotions, it's learning to move through them. This comes through vibrational frequency. This means understanding that emotions aren't just feelings, but they are actually teachers and functions for us to help vibrate with. Well, energy and emotions. Emotions are energy, like biochemical, electrical, somatic waves, like legit energy. They aren't just moods, even the ones that make you feel a little bit overwhelmed. Each emotion has a frequency. Love has a frequency. And yes, frequencies are also known to have colors. So think of the emotion like grief. Grief has a very low tone. It's slow. Think about that. It's heavy. Maybe you get a picture of a cello or a dark room that comes to mind when you think of grief. Anger is sharp. It's like a staccato rhythm. Joy is a beautiful golden shimmery light that's filled and it's also expansive. Peace is like blue, steady, grounding, but yet very resonant. Fear is what contracts us. It's like a high-pitched tune that we're all probably like, ugh, with. It's these emotions that are actual messengers. They're not here to throw us off or make us feel overwhelmed, although they do at times. They're actually designed to move energy through our bodies. So even science agrees with me. No, so heart variability is how we can tell our emotions are changing. Brain waves shift our own emotional states, and then our own electromagnetic field contracts or expands based on our own emotions. So when you say you feel off, you are actually sensing that shift in real time. That's what we call biofeedback, guys. Now, where does trauma come to play here? Well, trauma, she likes to come play anywhere she can. But if your emotions, right, are so intuitive, Erica, why do they often feel like there's so much or they're overwhelming, or maybe you're numb and not at all? Well, this could be a big sign that you have some trauma. So let's go a little bit deeper than that because trauma isn't just what happened. It's really what your body had to do to survive what happened. Think about that. So when trauma enters the system, whether it's a big event or just something that is subtle, it could be like repeated neglect, abuse, it starts to reorganize your own natural frequency. It contracts your energy field. It locks your nervous system into survival mode. So what this is doing is distorting your natural rhythm and frequency. Trauma is distorting that. So maybe you were expansive. Maybe you had a flow that was, I don't know, 1-4, and it turned it to a 6-8 for my music folks out there. So to go a little bit deeper into the aspect of trauma, Here's what trauma actually does on a vibrational level to your vibrational system, since we are vibrating beings. It traps your emotion in your fascia. So tension patterns, and it starts to hold on to these old stores. So when we think of like the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response, it freezes your nervous system, cutting off your own ability to truly feel safe. It can silence your throat chakra, making it really hard for you to even communicate your truth. It starts to loop your emotions on replay because your body never got to finish that original emotional cycle for you to process your emotions. Remember, our emotions are meant to be felt, are meant to be moved through, and the trauma, which will say, hey, I'm going to constrict and I'm going to hold on to this particular emotion. Therefore, you're not finishing the cycle. Your frequency, which once was a beautiful flow, now it might be static. So, to give you an idea of what trauma does and how this might feel, is that you get super overwhelmed by the small things. Maybe you numb using various coping tools because it hurts so much to feel something. You could be chronically anxious, or you could be a very reactive person, or perhaps joy is something that you have to earn. So you're always trying to prove your worth so that you can experience joy. It's not something you just feel. So here's the thing, this isn't a flaw. It's just your body's way of doing what it needed to do for you to survive, for you to be safe. It's a survival mode. It isn't resonance. And healing isn't about erasing what has happened to us in the past, because you can't erase that. But what you can do is really retune your system to process out that stuck, stagnant trauma. So to give you an example, I had a client, Eli. He was one of my clients, and he would always be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so angry, but I cannot cry. I cannot process this anger." And to me, this sounded like there was some trauma. So we explored the emotional body of Eli, and through somatics, through movement, through sound, and through being present, he was able to realize that his anger was actually grief in disguise. Think about that. Some of us could be holding on to anger, but the true emotion underneath could really be that resonant grief. And remember, anger has that sharp pitch, while grief has that very low, heavy tone. So in these two different frequencies, you're feeling that dissonance. You are more present with the anger, because sometimes some people associate grief with weakness. Anger is that shield which makes you feel powerful, because I'm angry. It makes you feel like you have control, versus grief, that loss. We all know loss is a sense of not having control, is of that surrender. So underneath all of that was actually sorrow that he never was seen. So through somatic practices like humming and like breathing, and being very intentional about feeling that grief underneath, tears came. And for the first time in a very long time, Elijah was able to cry and process the grief that had been stored in his body for years. With this came the softening of his chest, the opening of his heart, and the relief from being able to process this grief, and the relief from being able to put down, right, that shield of anger. He didn't just manage his emotions, he actually reclaimed his own vibrational flow. So, when emotions might seem really hard for you to feel, it could be that there is some trauma, some unprocessed trauma that is waiting to be seen, to be heard. You know, your body is always speaking to you, but not in words that we understand. So it's on us to start to learn our own body signal, where emotions can then become a little bit distorted because we are viewing life through the lens of our trauma. Our intuition becomes so unclear when we are holding on to our trauma. Feelings become like a threat to us, not actual guides that they are meant to be because of trauma. So you might ask, is this real or is this just my trauma? Why do I cry when I'm angry? Why do I feel anything at all? This just means that you could be out of your own resonant energy and not able to truly feel emotions. But the truth is, your natural frequency is still there. That's right. Trauma does not erase that. It's still deep inside you, but it's just buried under that survival mode, the coping mechanisms, that static, if you will. So, as vibrational healing isn't just, it's not about fixing you, but it's really about tuning back in to what trauma is trying to mute. But we are smarter than that. And we know that our true selves, right, our natural resonance it's inside. Even if it's hiding, it's still there. So it's still with you. Again, you are not broken at all. So let's shift this just a little bit further if you want to stick with me. Your emotions, they aren't problems to solve. They're teachers to listen to. For everyone that arises, it's not to destabilize you, but it's here to guide you back to true alignment. Fear asks you, what do I need? Safety, or do I need boundaries? Anger says the truth is not being ignored, or maybe that a line has been crossed for you. When you have grief, that says something valuable needs to be released. When you hear that joy whisper to you, what it is saying is this is who you are when you are unblocked. Shame, when we start to decode shame, what it actually says is you have actually internalized a lie about your own worth. But the real kicker about all of this is if you've experienced trauma, especially relational trauma, emotions like these feel like threats and not messengers. Sadness may feel very dangerous. Anger can feel shameful. Joy may feel very unfamiliar, and love can feel risky. Now, I'm not gonna, if this resonates with you, go ahead and leave a comment right there. If something I said really unlocks something for you, because I'm throwing a lot at us right now, because this is so complex, but it's so important. But the truth is that the vibrational imprint that trauma created really is the confusion between what is safe and what's okay to actually express and process. So something for you to maybe chew on, think about, maybe even journal later. So your emotions, they are not here to be sabotagers. That's not what they're here for. They are really just trying to help complete that circle, that circuit that never got completed. It's an energetic cycle that wants to actually move through you. One of the things that I love, and sorry as I digress a little bit, I love how when you speak different languages, when we talk about emotions, rarely, only like the English language is I am X, right? I am angry. When you look at other languages, it is I have anger, which lets you know that the state is very much so temporary versus the state being you. You have this emotion. You are holding on for it for the time being because it's here to teach you something, right? So just something that might help you reframe how to think about emotions. Look to other languages. I know here in English, it's hard, right? I am sad. I am angry. I am hurt. But no, You are holding on to these things because they were temporary states. They are messengers here to deliver that message for you, and then for you to be able to act and move through that. But when you do silence these messengers, they don't go away. They actually embed deeper into the body. They repeat themselves louder and louder and then get more distorted. So think of your emotional body like a string instrument. If the strings are too tight, like after trauma, then even joy will sound dissonant. If a string is too loose, like you're disconnected or disembodied, so even fear doesn't even register at the time. But when tuned properly, you don't have to force a harmony because you just become it. It is you. That's your natural state. So let's do a little bit of practice. This isn't about knowing. It's really to help us embody all of this. It's the feel, listen, and translate protocol that I use with my clients and vibrational healing work. So the first step with me, of course, is the feeling part. This is where you take a moment, you create that moment, you create that space, you pause, you breathe, and then you scan. What is this emotion showing your body? What is this emotion showing your body? How is it showing up? Is it showing up as heavy energy in your chest? Is it a tightness in your jaw area? Is it maybe even a buzzing in your gut? How is this particular emotion showing up? That's the first step, to really feel into that. Again, right? Our body is always speaking to us because our body is the library that stored every single experience we have had. So it has more wisdom than us, right? So why not lean into that a little bit? So the second step is écoute. Listen. Ask the emotion, what do you want me to know? What are you trying to protect me from or teach me? What do you need to complete your cycle? I think that is like the most important question. I mean, they're all very important, but what is it that you need to complete your cycle? Sometimes the answer comes straight away, like hit you like a ton of bricks. It comes like an image or a sound, a word, a memory. Trust it. It is your higher self. It is your own resident energy coming to help you out here, right? You ask the question, you get the answer. The third part is that translate. Now, this takes some time and some practice. You've got to give it a voice. Saying something like anger, I see you, and thank you so much for trying to protect me. Grief, I honor you. I honor the depths of what I have lost. Fear, I know you are here because something matters. And then try to respond with a vibration. May it be a sigh, a tone, a hum. May you leverage your breath that is with you always. Maybe it's the movement, a stretch. Ooh, that felt good. A shake, a rock, which helps reset that nervous system. Maybe it's a visualization. It's something you want to see. It's a light. It's a warmth. It's the expansion you feel after this. Maybe the relief you feel after this. You can see weight lifting off of your shoulders. This is where vibrational healing truly begins. Now, let's take a moment and let's do a quick little reset. I promise it will be quick. We're just going to take like 60 seconds. If you want, you could stop and pause the video, or you could fast forward this part and come back to the practice. No judgment here. You've got to do what works for you, right? What is the next best step for you? And only you know that. So Let's take 60 minutes. I mean, 60 seconds, sorry. For anyone that heard, I did say minutes. I mean, 60 seconds. And maybe if it's available to you, you close your eyes right now. If you have access to your breath, deep breath in, releasing this. And then just take a few seconds and scan your body. And as you scan your body, I want you to choose an emotion or scan your body and find an emotion. And wherever you find this emotion, maybe you put your hand on your heart. Excuse me. You put your hand on your heart if that's where the emotion is, or you put your hand on your knee if that's where it is. And you let the vibration flow. You ask it, what does it need to complete its cycle? You give it the space, you give it the time, you honor it. Maybe you find another spot and you do it again. This isn't about fixing. This is about feeling the frequency. Let your body truly be heard. Let it know that you are actually listening to it. Now, you can do this obviously for a lot longer. You can stop, you can repeat the video and do it again for that second. But I want to give you a tool that you can use to leverage so that you can increase your own vibrational intelligence, so that you understand how your emotions are energy, and you can be that alchemist to transmute things, because you know how to allow emotions to move through you now and not get stuck or stagnant. No longer are the days where we're okay with masking our emotions and just stuffing them, right? Because we're going to deal with it later. But then that later comes and presents itself as an illness or a chronic pain. We don't want that. We want to be the generational cycle breakers that are leaving that stuff behind so that our kids and our kids' kids do not have to hold on to these burdens as well. So as we bring this into real life, this week, what I invite you to do or challenge you to do is try something different. Maybe you create an emotional frequency journal, or you just jot it down or do a voice note. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Take a few minutes today and you just want to ask yourself, like, what are the emotions you felt that day? Where did you feel them in your body? If they were a color or a tone, what was that? And then what was it actually trying to show you? What was the message there? And then were you able to move through it or suppress it? Now, the goal is to actually start to see patterns. We are increasing our own vibrational awareness as we do this. The goal is for you to build trust with your body and your ability to navigate your own inner landscape. Most importantly, this isn't about, you being perfect. This is how we start tuning back in to our own emotional truth. And remember, like, the goal here is not to be emotionally perfect, but it's to become emotionally fluid, because emotional fluency isn't about controlling the emotions. It's about becoming the conscious translator for that particular energy. Because when you're able to speak the language of your own emotions, you now can harmonize with your whole life. So next week, we are going to dive into vibrational boundaries, how to protect your energy without closing your heart. So this is perfect for my empath and my energy sensitive folks to be able to reclaim their own space. So if today's practice episode brought you a little something, a little nugget, meaning, put a little something in the comments for me. What emotion are you learning to decode right now? Share, subscribe, like, do all the things, tag somebody who you think this would actually resonate with. Remember, you are not broken. You are becoming more attuned every single day, every moment. Until next time, folks, I'm your host, your girl, Erica Jamel, the Mindful Mistress, here with Prism Vibes. Elevate your vibration, which will help you transform your life. Thank you so much. Bye.